The streets of Chicago are burning with tension, and this new teaser just proved that Tommy Egan is not slowing down. Every shot feels heavier, every line carries double meaning, and every face we see reminds us that power always comes with a price. This isn't just another season, it's the next chapter in a war for control, survival, and respect. From the very first moment Tommy appears in this teaser, his presence feels different. He doesn't look like the man who just stumbled into Chicago to carve out a name for himself. He looks like a king ready to defend his throne. The camera lingers on him longer than usual, giving us time to see his body language calm, steady, but still carrying that dangerous edge that made him so feared in New York. What stands out here is not just his confidence, but the silence that surrounds him. In a world full of chaos, Tommy has always been loud, quick to act, quick to strike. But here, the silence almost feels like a warning. He's no longer proving himself, he's warning everyone else to stay out of his way. We also notice the small details in this teaser that point to how far Tommy has come. The clothes are sharper, the cars are bigger, and the settings are darker and more polished. These are not the signs of a man struggling to get respect, these are the signs of someone who has already taken it. When we compare this to Season 2, where Tommy was constantly putting out fires, chasing after opportunities, and fighting for every piece of territory, the contrast is clear. Season 3 shows him as someone who has not just survived the game, but learned how to bend it to his will. That transformation is not just character growth, it's storytelling at its finest, showing us how power changes people from the inside out. One moment that really catches attention is when Tommy steps into a room full of people who clearly don't trust him, yet no one dares to challenge him directly. This is a perfect example of how respect in this world is not given, it's taken. And Tommy has taken it in Chicago. He's not the outsider anymore. He's the center of gravity, the one everyone has to respond to. It sets the tone for the season. Tommy is no longer asking for a seat at the table, he's building the table himself. Another thing this teaser makes clear is that Tommy's ambition hasn't slowed down. If anything, it's bigger. The way he moves, the way the shots frame him, and the way other characters look at him all suggest that his empire is expanding. But in the world of power, expansion always comes with enemies. You can feel it in the way the teaser cuts quickly from Tommy's moments of calm to flashes of violence and betrayal. The message is simple. With every step Tommy takes forward, someone is waiting to pull him down. That tension, that sense of everything can fall apart in an instant, is what makes his storyline so gripping. The teaser also plays with light and shadows around Tommy in a way that feels symbolic. In some scenes, he's stepping out of the dark into a dim glow, almost like the city itself is watching him rise. In other moments, he's completely surrounded by darkness, suggesting that no matter how powerful he becomes, danger is always a step behind him. This balance between light and dark is a reminder that Tommy's world is never black and white. Every choice has consequences, and every victory is paid for in blood. What's most exciting here is the confidence the teaser shows in Tommy's role as the lead. Earlier seasons in the Power universe always had Tommy as the loyal right-hand man, the one you could never fully predict, but always counted on for action. Now he's carrying the entire story, and this teaser makes it clear that he's not just carrying it, he's redefining it. His power moves aren't just about territory or money. They're about rewriting his own legacy. And in a world where legacies are built on loyalty and betrayal, that's a dangerous game to play. This section of the teaser leaves us with one big question. How far is Tommy willing to go to protect what he's built? Because if the teaser is any clue, Season 3 won't just be about him rising, it will be about the battles he must fight to keep from falling. And those battles are going to come from every direction: rivals, allies, and even his own choices. The teaser doesn't just show us Tommy. It also throws in new faces and some familiar ones who carry a lot of weight in this story. Every quick shot of these characters feels intentional, almost like puzzle pieces that hint at the battles and alliances waiting in Season 3. In the Power universe, no character is ever just background, they all mean something. And the way the teaser frames them tells us exactly how dangerous, valuable, or unpredictable they will be. One of the first things you notice is how the camera introduces the newcomers. They aren't shown casually walking in or fading into a scene. Instead, their entrances are bold, either marked by sharp music cues, slow camera zooms, or sudden flashes of intensity. That tells us the showrunners want us to take them seriously right away. There's a new energy in their presence, and you can almost feel how they'll test Tommy's control. In Force, new faces never come without hidden agendas. And the way these characters look at Tommy in the teaser, some with respect, others with clear suspicion, sets up future conflicts perfectly. The most striking thing is how these new characters aren't just random players. Each one seems to represent a piece of the larger chessboard Tommy is trying to control. One figure looks like they're connected to politics or law enforcement, dressed to clean and sharp to belong on the streets, but still standing confidently in this world of power games. Another appears more street level, the kind of person who could either become a loyal soldier or a dangerous traitor depending on how things play out. Then there's a mysterious character who barely speaks but whose silence says more than words ever could. These are the kinds of figures who often shape the storyline in power, quiet, watchful, and waiting for the perfect moment to make their move. Now, let's talk about the returning characters. The teaser wastes no time reminding us that Tommy isn't running Chicago alone. His crew, his allies, and even his rivals from last season show up again. But there's a shift in the way they're shown. Someone who once looked like an ally now seems colder, distant, maybe even plotting behind the scenes. Another face we've come to trust appears shaken, as if they're not sure how much longer they can ride with Tommy on this dangerous path. These changes in tone are important because in this world, alliances are fragile. A character can be by your side in one episode and turn against you in the next. The teaser is warning us, don't trust what you thought you knew. One returning character stands out even more because of how much tension surrounds them. The teaser doesn't show them in long dialogue or action scenes. Instead, it gives us short, sharp glimpses, almost like we're only allowed to see fragments of their story for now. That mystery is intentional. It builds hype, making fans wonder what role they'll play in Season 3. Will they be the loyal partner Tommy desperately needs, or will they be the one who finally betrays him? That uncertainty adds fuel to the fire and makes their presence one of the biggest questions hanging over the season. The way the teaser balances these new and returning faces is also clever. It's not just about showing who's in or out, it's about creating tension in every direction. For Tommy, this means that he can't afford to relax, even with the people he trusts. Every handshake could be a setup. Every smile could hide a knife. Every new ally could secretly be working for the enemy. And that's the beauty of the Power Universe. It thrives on these shifting loyalties, keeping both the characters and the audience guessing. Another important detail is how these characters are shot in relation to Tommy. Some are shown standing in front of him, blocking his path, almost like obstacles. Others are at his side, walking shoulder to shoulder, signaling loyalty. And then there are those who linger in the background, half in shadow, watching but not revealing their true hand. This isn't just visual style, it's storytelling. The show is telling us who might oppose him, who might support him, and who could turn at any moment. What makes this section of the teaser so exciting is the sheer unpredictability of it all. The new faces bring fresh energy, the returning characters bring unfinished business, and together they create a storm that Tommy has to navigate. It's like a reminder that no matter how powerful he becomes, he's still surrounded by people who want a piece of him, whether it's loyalty, money, revenge, or control. By the end of this part of the teaser, one thing is clear. Season 3 isn't just about Tommy versus the city. It's about Tommy versus everyone in his orbit, whether they admit it or not. These characters are more than just players. They're potential threats, possible allies, and ticking time bombs waiting to explode. And when they do, the fallout will decide who rises, who falls, and who gets buried. Conflict is the heartbeat of the Power Universe. And this new teaser wastes no time in showing us that Season 3 will be built on violence, betrayal, and unexpected wars. Every frame feels loaded with tension, like a storm is about to break over Chicago. And what makes this teaser so powerful is not just the action itself, but the way it hints at battles that are bigger than fists, guns, or territory. They're battles of trust, pride, and survival. One moment that stands out is a shot of Tommy locking eyes with a rival across a crowded room. No words are spoken, but the silence between them says everything. There's no avoiding this war. What makes this scene even stronger is the way the crowd around them seems unaware of the intensity. It's like the world is moving normally, but for Tommy and this rival, everything is frozen in that single moment of tension. That kind of storytelling reminds us that in power, conflicts don't always start with bullets, they start with looks, whispers, and silent threats. The teaser also hints at betrayal, which has always been the true weapon in this universe. Quick cuts show familiar faces hesitating, pausing just long enough to make us wonder where their loyalties lie. A handshake that looks too forced, a glance that lingers too long, a smile that doesn't reach the eyes. These are the warning signs. And if the past seasons have taught us anything, it's that betrayal often comes from the person standing closest to you. For Tommy, this is especially dangerous because his entire empire is built on fragile alliances. The teaser makes it clear, someone in his circle is going to cross him, and when they do, the fallout could be catastrophic. Another detail worth noting is how the teaser plays with sound during moments of conflict. Explosions and gunfire are there, but some of the most chilling moments happen in near silence. A door creaks open. A gun is cocked. Heavy breathing fills the space before a sudden cut. This use of sound reminds us that tension doesn't always come from what you see, but from what you feel waiting just out of frame. It's the promise of violence rather than the violence itself that makes these moments unforgettable. There are also hints of larger, systemic conflict wars that go beyond Tommy's personal battles. At one point, we see what looks like a political figure speaking in public, their face half lit, while Tommy's name is whispered in the background. This suggests that Season 3 may bring in forces outside the criminal underworld. When politics, law enforcement, and the streets collide, the game becomes much more dangerous. Tommy isn't just facing gangs and rivals anymore. He's facing the full machinery of a city that wants to control him or crush him. But perhaps the most powerful conflict hinted at in the teaser is the one inside Tommy himself. In several shots, he's alone, sitting in silence, looking out over the city. These moments feel different. They're slower, more reflective. For a man who's always been defined by action, these pauses suggest an internal battle. Is he questioning his path? Is he haunted by the cost of his choices? Or is he simply preparing for the bloodshed he knows is coming? This inner conflict is key, because in the Power universe, characters don't just fight enemies on the outside, they fight their own demons. And often those demons are the deadliest of all. One of the final glimpses of conflict in the teaser shows a massive shootout. Cars flipped and chaos breaking out in broad daylight. The choice to set it in daylight rather than the shadows of night is intentional. It's a sign that the war Tommy is in can no longer stay hidden. The streets, the city, everyone will see the cost of this battle. That's not just a fight for power, it's a fight for survival in plain view, where every move will echo louder than ever. By the end of this section of the teaser, the message is crystal clear. Tommy isn't just climbing higher, he's stepping into the center of a war zone. Enemies from every side, allies who might betray him, and inner demons he can't outrun. Season 3 isn't promising peace. It's promising chaos. And in chaos, only the strongest, smartest, and most ruthless can survive. Every Power show has a way of weaving hidden meaning into its visuals, and this teaser for Force Season 3 is no different. Beneath the gunfire, betrayals, and intense stares, there are layers of themes and symbols that tell us more than words ever could. The beauty of this universe is that nothing is shown by accident. Every shadow, every color, every line of dialogue is a piece of the larger puzzle. When we look closer at this teaser, we see a story not just about Tommy Egan's rise, but about the dangerous balance between loyalty and ambition, light and darkness, past and future. One of the strongest themes we can see right away is power versus isolation. Tommy has always wanted control, respect, and territory, and now the teaser shows he's closer to holding that power than ever before. But the way the camera often frames him alone standing apart from his crew, walking into empty spaces, staring at the city skyline reminds us that power comes at a cost. The higher he climbs, the lonelier he becomes. This is a classic theme in the power universe. The more control you gain, the more trust you lose. And in Tommy's case, that loneliness is dangerous because it means he can only rely on himself, even when surrounded by others. The use of shadows and light throughout the teaser is another powerful symbol. In many shots, Tommy steps out of the dark into a dim, glowing space, almost like he's constantly moving between worlds, the underworld of crime and the faint light of something greater. It shows us that Tommy isn't just a villain or a hero. He's both. The darkness represents his past, his violent history in New York, the ghosts of everyone he's lost. The light suggests a new path, the empire he's building in Chicago. But the fact that the light is never bright, always dim or flickering, tells us his future will never be fully clean. No matter how much he grows, the shadows will always follow him. Another theme that stands out is loyalty and betrayal, and the teaser shows this in subtle ways. The placement of characters in scenes tells us everything. Someone standing too close to Tommy, but their eyes drifting away. A supposed ally shown in half shadow, as if their loyalty is already breaking. And moments where Tommy's crew looks divided, with some standing behind him while others seem ready to step aside. Loyalty in this world is never permanent, and the teaser reminds us that betrayal is not a question of if, but when. This theme has always driven the Power franchise, but here it feels sharper, more personal, because Tommy is no longer the sidekick, he's the boss. And betrayal always cuts deeper when you're the one at the top. The color palette of the teaser also tells a story. Dark blues and blacks dominate most of the scenes, creating a cold and dangerous atmosphere, but flashes of red break through during moments of violence. Red has always symbolized blood, passion, and danger in this universe. Here, it seems to mark key turning points, gunshots, betrayals, and warnings of war. Whenever red appears, it feels like a sign that someone's fate is about to change. This kind of symbolism creates a rhythm, almost like the city itself is bleeding every time Tommy makes a move. We also see hints of legacy as a theme. There are quiet moments where Tommy looks out over the city, almost as if he's asking himself what kind of mark he's going to leave. Legacy has always been central in the Power universe. Ghost's ambition was to leave a mark that went beyond the streets, while others simply wanted to be remembered as survivors. For Tommy, the question is more complicated. Does he want to be feared, respected, or loved? The teaser doesn't give us a clear answer, but it raises the question in the way it frames him against the skyline, small yet powerful, alone yet commanding. His legacy may not just be about building an empire, it may be about rewriting the rules of what kind of empire he leaves behind. Another subtle symbol comes in the way doors and windows are used in the teaser. Tommy is often shown walking through doors, standing at thresholds, or staring out windows. These images suggest transition. He's constantly moving from one stage of his life to another, never fully settled, always stepping into the unknown. A closed door behind him means he's left something behind, usually with no turning back. An open door ahead means danger, opportunity, or both. Windows, on the other hand, are about perspective. He sees the city, but he's not fully part of it yet. These small details tell us that Season 3 is about crossing lines, making choices, and deciding which side of the door Tommy will end up on. Finally, the teaser carries a theme of inevitable chaos. The way scenes are cut, calm moments suddenly shattered by violence, characters speaking only to be drowned out by explosions, shows us that no matter how much Tommy plans, chaos will always be one step ahead of him. This isn't just about action. It's about fate. In this world, peace is temporary, and war is constant. The teaser suggests that Season 3 won't just be about building power, it will be about surviving the chaos that power always brings when we put all of these symbols and themes together. The teaser stops being just a collection of exciting clips. It becomes a story in itself, one that tells us Season 3 is about more than just Tommy's empire. It's about the loneliness of power, the shadows of the past, the fragility of loyalty, the question of legacy, and the inevitability of chaos. Every shot whispers the same message: power doesn't come free, and the price Tommy pays this season may be higher than ever before. Now that we've looked at Tommy's power moves, the new faces, the conflicts, and the deeper themes hidden in the teaser, it's time to talk about the fun part, the theories. Because if there's one thing the Power universe always delivers, it's twists nobody sees coming. This teaser is only a few minutes long, but the way it's cut, the way certain characters are highlighted, and the way others are hidden all point to where Season 3 might be heading. And fans know one thing: nothing in Power happens by accident. Every shot is a clue. The first big theory comes from how Tommy is framed throughout the teaser. His dominance is clear, but so is the sense of isolation we noticed earlier. This could mean Season 3 is setting up a storyline where Tommy finally becomes the king of Chicago, but at the cost of losing almost everyone around him. The teaser might be hinting that Tommy's rise will be his most dangerous season yet, not because of enemies on the outside, but because of the cracks forming inside his own empire. If this is true, we might see Tommy forced to choose between staying loyal to the people he cares about and doing what it takes to stay on top. And if history has taught us anything about Tommy, it's that his loyalty is real, but so is his ruthlessness. Another big theory revolves around betrayal. In nearly every Power show, betrayal is the turning point of the story, the moment that flips everything upside down. The teaser makes us suspicious of almost every returning character, which could be a deliberate strategy to hide the real traitor in plain sight. Fans are already buzzing about which ally will turn on Tommy. Some believe it could be a close member of his crew, someone who's been loyal so far but feels overshadowed by Tommy's growing power. Others think a returning character might strike a secret deal with one of the new faces introduced in the teaser. If betrayal is at the center of this season, then whoever pulls the trigger literally or figuratively will become one of the most shocking villains in the Power universe. Then there's the possibility of crossovers. The Power universe has always loved connecting its shows. From Ghost's influence on Tariq in Power Book to Kanan's backstory shaping everything in Raising Kanan, the teaser gives us a few moments that feel like deliberate nods to this larger world. A line here, a shadowy figure there, things that make you wonder if someone from Tommy's past could step into Chicago. Could we see Tariq make a move that affects Tommy's empire? Could a ghost from New York literally or figuratively return to shake things up? The chances are slim for certain characters, but the Power universe has proven time and again that the past never stays buried. Another interesting theory is tied to Tommy's inner conflict. Those reflective moments where he's shown alone, staring at the city, might be foreshadowing something bigger, a shift in his identity. Tommy has always been the hot-headed soldier, the man who acts first and deals with the fallout later. But what if Season 3 shows him evolving into something different, a more strategic, more calculating version of himself? If that's true, then we could be looking at a Tommy who doesn't just want to run the streets, but wants to control the entire system, politics, business, everything. That would set him up not just as a drug kingpin, but as the kind of untouchable figure Ghost once dreamed of becoming. The irony, of course, is that Ghost's ambition destroyed him. If Tommy tries to walk that same path, will he end up in the same grave? One fan favorite theory that's been floating around is that Season 3 could finally show us the true cost of Tommy's ambition in a deeply personal way. That could mean the loss of someone close to him, someone whose absence would change him forever. In the Power world, death is never random, it's always emotional, always tied to loyalty, betrayal, or legacy. If this teaser is hinting at anything, it's that not everyone who stands beside Tommy in the beginning will still be standing at the end. And the pain of that loss could either break him or push him to an even more dangerous level of power. Lastly, there's the theory that Season 3 might be setting up a war bigger than Tommy has ever faced before. The teaser shows us glimpses of rival gangs, political figures, and even law enforcement stepping into the story. This suggests that the conflict won't just be about drug territory anymore, it will be about control over the entire city. If Tommy is truly aiming to be king, then he's not just fighting dealers on corners, he's fighting systems, institutions, and people with power far beyond the streets. This could make Season 3 the most explosive one yet, because Tommy might finally be going up against forces that even he can't outshoot or outsmart. When you put all these theories together, one thing is clear: Season 3 is shaping up to be more than just another chapter in Tommy's journey. It could be the season that defines him not just as a survivor or a soldier, but as a legend in the Power universe. Whether he rises to the top or falls to the bottom, the teaser promises that every choice, every betrayal, and every shot fired will bring him closer to his fate. And that's what makes this season so exciting. No matter what happens, Tommy's story is about to change forever.